the Atma Agnyalam, not knowing one's own nature, is the problem. And so the best thing that one can do is to understand oneself, and that is the best form of devotion, really.
When she said it's profound and very feeling it very, I never feel that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
I'm not. I've been to temple. I've been to many.
Yes.
Many things.
Yes. Yes. I will talk to you after the class more. Get to know you.
The feel is important, right?
Yes. Yes.
Getting it right.
Yeah. Shall I give you another mask if it is keeping on slipping?
Yeah.
Yeah. You take that one there. You please put that mask on, because when I teach, it's hard for me to teach with the mask on. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मौनेन मज्जन्मनसा स्वमूल चर्चैव सत्यात्मविचारणं स्यात् एषोऽहमेतन्न मम स्वरूपम् इति प्रमासत्यविचारणाङ्गम् पतेदहन्ता परिभुग्नशीर्षा. No, I forgot one line, I think. गवेषणात् प्राप्य हृदन्तरं तत् पतेदहन्ता परिभुग्नशीर्षा अथाहमन्यत् स्फुरति प्रकृष्टं नाहङ्कृतिस्तत्परमेव पूर्णम् अहङ्कृतिं यो लसति ग्रसित्वा किं तस्य कार्यं परिशिष्टमस्ति किञ्चिद्विजानाति स नात्मनोऽन्यत् तस्य स्थितिं भावयितुं क्षमः कः आह स्फुटं तत्त्वमसीति वेदः तथाप्यसम्प्राप्य परात्मनिष्ठां भूयो विचारो मतिदुर्बलत्वं तत्सर्वदा स्वात्मतया हि भाति न वेद्म्यहं मामुत वेद्म्यहं माम् इति प्रवादो मनुजस्य हास्यः दृग्दृश्यभेदात् किमियं द्विधात्मा स्वात्मैकतायां हि धियान्न भेदाः हृत्प्राप्य सद्धाम निजस्वरूपे स्वभावसिद्धेनुपलभ्य निष्ठां मायाविलासः सदसत्स्वरूप विरूपणानैकमुखप्रवादाः सिद्धस्य वित्तिः सत एव सिद्धिः स्वप्नोपमानाः खलु सिद्धयोऽन्यः स्वप्नः प्रबुद्धस्य कथं नु सत्यः सति स्थितः किं पुनरेति मायां सोऽहं विचारो वपुरात्मभावे साहाय्यकारी परमार्गणस्य स्वात्मैक्यसिद्धौ स पुनर्निरर्थः यथा नरत्वप्रमितिर्नरस्य द्वैतं विचारे परमार्थबोधे त्वद्वैतमित्येष न साधुवादः गवेषणात् प्राग् दशमे विनष्टे पश्चाच्च लब्धे दशमत्वमेकम्. So when the 10th man is lost, 10 people go on a picnic, okay? And then not terribly bright. And so they did not count properly. So the one man who counted forgot to count himself and he said 9. So he needed to take help from a sadhu And then the sadhu finally counted and said, okay, you had forgotten to count yourself, and 10. So you came to the number 10. So now, where was the, so they were all lamenting, 10th man is lost, 10th man is lost, 10th man is lost. Where was the 10th man? Right there. Not lost at all. But thinking it is lost. I am lost. That the 10th person is lost. Then when the 10th man is found, where was the 10th man found? Well, if one is not lost, how can one be found if one is not lost? This is what we have to understand. And so therefore, this is the beauty of it. The tenthness of the 10th man remains unchanged. Before also, when he was lost, when he was considered to be drowned in the river, because they went on a boat, and so he was considered that he may have drowned in the river, and then so the lost or the destroyed 10th man is the tenthness was intact. Only some people thought he was destroyed, even though the tenthness is intact. And then, oh, the tenthness is lost, the tenthness is destroyed. And now what? The tenthness is back. Back means what? It never went anywhere. How can it be back when it did not go anywhere at all? This is the idea that, this whole thing about what is that called? Dvaita and Advaita. Dvaita means two. Advaita is non-duality. So thinking that one is going from Dvaita to Advaita is as foolish as saying the 10th man was lost and now the 10th man is found. That is, in effect, this particular verse. Now we have a better handle on how Ramana Maharshi composes and how the whole thing is talked about very, the style. We have a nice hang about of the style. So the next one is also very interesting. Verse number 40 talks about karma and karma phala. What is karma? Action. And every action, what does it have? Result of action. So that is the next verse. Karomi karmeti naro vijanan बाध्यो भवेत् कर्म फलं च भोक्तुं विचारधूता हृदि कर्तृता चेत् कर्मत्रयं नश्यति सैव मुक्तिः करोमि कर्मेति नरो विजानन् बाध्यो भवेत् कर्म फलं च भोक्तुं विचारधूता हृदि कर्तृता चेत् कर्मत्रयं नश्यति सैव मुक्तिः कर्म करोमि इति नरः विजानन्. Vijanan is a kind of, what to call it? Sarcastic statement. Vijanan means knowing. Karma karomi iti. Karma karomi. I do all the actions. What kind of actions? Laukika karma and then Vaidika karma. Religious actions, Vaidika karma. Puja, all these things I do. Who is the doer? I am the doer. And then, what else do I do? Then other things also I do, like go to the office and then come back, eating, sleeping, cooking, cleaning. All these are also actions, but they are distinguished from religious actions. There are religious actions and then mundane actions, everyday actions, sacred actions, and then other everyday actions. All of them, I am the actor. And then when Vijanan means knowing this. Knowing means wrongly knowing this. That's the sarcasm here. There is a certain swarasya, we call it. Is a kind of figure of speech. There's a bit of a sarcasm here. Thinking this, knowing this, and of course, how do you know this? Wrongly knowing this. So, karma karomi iti naraha, the person, vijanan, knowing this. Then what happens? Badhyaha bhavet. Badhyaha means is tied up. Tied up with a rope, so to speak. With what? Karma phalam cha bhoktum. Karma phalam the results of action. Because each time you act and you think you are the actor, then there will be some results of action. Every action has a result of action. This is what happens. So first that's what I was talking about earlier also. You work for 5 days, that is the karma, and then what do you get? You get the weekend off. Saturday, Sunday, you get holiday. So this is karma phala of 5 days of work. Or you get paid. That's also another karma phala. Or you get a promotion, extra bonus karma phala. So like this, you work and then you get paid. You work in order to get time off. You cook in order to eat. All this is for the sake of bhoga only. Nobody does action for the sake of action. Nobody on earth is so altruistic unless one is a saint. Otherwise, everybody does bhogaya karma. Bhogaya karma karoti. Means for the sake of bhoga alone, the karma is done. Bhoga means experience, enjoyment. That is why the karma is done. Nobody is so altruistic and nobody is so self-sacrificing that they are doing karma for the sake of karma, for helping others, etc. Even if they want to help others, there is this feeling, that I can't stand their suffering. Therefore, I'm going to help. So, in a way, you're benefiting yourself by helping others, or you want to look good, or you want your name to be in the papers, whatever the reason. Everybody does karma for the sake of bhoga. Bhoga means for the sake of karma phala. So the emphasis is not on karma, action. It's on what? Getting something that I want, result of action. This is the emphasis. And with this kind of a thinking, what does the person do? The person keeps on doing karma in order to get results of action, and that is how you spell bondage, which is also notional. That is how you spell bondage. Oh, I thought it was Bondage. No, that was the old spelling. Maharshi spells bondage this way. For, for Maharshi, the spelling of bondage is focusing on the result of action and then doing the action, keeping in view the result of action. That is what is the spelling of bondage. Because when you do karma, then you don't know what is coming. You are not in charge of the karma phala. Are you in charge of the karma phala? No. You don't have karma phala at all. You are not the author of the results of action. And this is what is said in the most famous verse of the Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu kadachana. Yes, you have a say over action. You have a say over action, definitely, but you do not have a say over the results. Result of action, you do not have a say. That's why you do one thing with an intention that it will go this way, and then what happens? It goes opposite. It goes opposite. All you wanted to do was cross the road and catch the bus. And then what happened? You, like a good citizen, you look to the left, you look to the right, no cars, nothing. You cross the road. But it was an Indian road, you forgot that. Banana peel was there. And so you were so busy looking for traffic. The banana peel, not very appealing, was there on the road, and you had an instant skating lesson. And then what? Momentarily lost consciousness and started to ask spiritual questions. Who am I? Where am I? What for I'm here? Etc. etc. You see, you're not in charge of the results of action at all. You just wanted to cross the road and catch the bus. And you were a good citizen, well adjusted, trained to look to the left, look to the right. But then you forgot the hidden variable. What is that? the the banana peel which had been thrown in the middle of the road. And of course, it was your karma. What was the karma? That no cow or anything had come along, cow or goat had not come along before you and eaten that up. So it was still there on the road, waiting for you, hidden variable. So nobody is in charge of producing the results of action. And this is a very important consideration, because this being the case, then what happens? Then you have to question, are you an actor? Are you a karta? This is what this verse is meant to make us question. Are you in fact an actor when you are, when you are not in charge of the results of action? How can you say you're an actor? You cannot even be an actor. So then, but even though one is not in charge of the result of action, still one keeps on acting as though one is producing the result of action. I am the agent of action and I am producing the results of action. Thinking this, one is acting all the time, and so one becomes bound, badhyaha. Badhyaha bhavet naraha. So the person becomes bound. Why? Karma phalam cha bhoktum. So whatever result comes from Bhagavan, I am bound to endure this. I wanted something, I didn't get it. I got something other than what I wanted. Now I have to sit with it. See, this is what it is. And some decisions are very important decisions. Marriage, children, etc. And then, you can't just hand over the child to somebody and say, I don't like this child. You raise it. You can't do that. And so therefore, certain things are very, very difficult decisions, important decisions. And so therefore, but those decisions happen when they happen at the level of action, not at the level of result of action. The result of action cannot be controlled by you at all. This, if you don't understand, then what happens. One is a jiva, having three forms of karma. Three forms of results of action are waiting to be exhausted, and the exhaustion of these results of action is only through experiencing them. No other way they go. That is, that is how, you have to eat the karma phala. In fact, one of the meanings of the word Atma, Atti, Atti means eats. What does it eat? Karma phalani Atti iti Atma. This is the Jiva definition of Atma. Then we have another definition, Apnoti Sarvam, that which gains everything, that which fills up everything, that which gains everything, that is also Atma. That is from the standpoint of the one who is no longer ignorant of the fact that I am not bound to keep on experiencing these karma phalas. So those karma phalas, the results of actions, are divided into three kinds of results of action. What is the first one? The first one is called prarabdha karma. Prarabdha means what? It was already prak arabdham, that which was begun before. Before what? Before this body even came into being. Already the karma was already set in motion. That which one has to experience has been set into motion. This is called prarabdha karma. It is like, it's like a big ball of dough. And then enough for one chapati is broken off. And then that much you have to experience in this life. One chapati means some kind of a flat bread is made, is rolled out and made and put into the hot griddle of samsara. That is what one has to experience in this life. This is prarabdha karma. Oh, that's not too bad. Wait, I'm just getting started here. And then where did this prarabdha karma come from? Come from sanchita karma. Sanchita karma is an endless body of karma standing in the name of every jiva who does not know the I, who does not know oneself. And so that is the that is sanchita karma. And so prarabdha, little piece is broken off of it, and then but still in this life also, whatever karma one does, nishiddha karma, things which one is not supposed to do, one does, gets difficult results, that also go joins sanchita, to be fructified later on, to be experienced later on. So the sanchita, there is no way of exhausting. It keeps growing and growing and growing. It's endless. It appears to be infinite, like the Atma. It is not, but we will see why, because it's a, what's its name? It's mithya, but we'll see that later. So that's the second kind of karma. Oh, yeah, that's really bad. Okay, now the third one is called Agami Karma. Agami Karma means all the karmas that you are going to do in this life, whatever you're going to do. Here, of course, the free will is there. You can do it, you need not do it, but then whatever you do, the results of that, either papa or punya. Two kinds of results naturally. So it's like an empty suitcase Bhagavan has sent with you, and then you don't have a say way over how to open it even. It opens automatically. It has two compartments. Oh, for shirts and pants? No, no, no. For papa and punya. And it will go there, and then it will again join sanchita. This is what the whole thing is. This is agami karma, sanchita karma, prarabdha karma. And this prarabdha karma means it's already a full suitcase, not an empty suitcase. A full suitcase that keeps getting emptied because the papa and the punya keep coming out. And then after a while, and at the end of the life, the prarabdha suitcase is empty. The agami suitcase is full. Do you understand now? Yeah. And where did the prarabdha suitcase come? From Sanchita. Where is the Agami suitcase going to go? Back to Sanchita. After the body falls. So you see, one desire, I would like to have this, sets in motion so much action and so much results of action. At the end of it, you wonder if it's even worth it. This is how the person gets bonded to the cycle of action and result of action, and not only in one day, not only in one lifetime, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. That is how it is. And so this is a very difficult prospect. And so then the question is, what to do with this? All the philosophers sit and talk, and they have many theories. One theory is Vasana Kshaya should take place. Vasana Kshaya means all the prarabdha, every single thing must go. And only after the prarabdha goes, and only after the sanchita goes, only after agami goes, then only the person will be, what is that, freed. This is nonsense. Because I already told you, the sanchita is lot of, it's like a big ball of dough, endless. And you can make endless numbers of chapatis. Each chapati is prarabdha. See? And so, how are you going to do this? What are you going to do? How on earth will you do this? Where will you take this? How will go to this? This is how are you going to get rid of this karma? Very, very, very difficult. So you cannot say vasana kshayat. You cannot do that. Because vasana kshaya means you have to experience each and every karma that is in your name. Good grief. And that means anirmoksha prasanga. No moksha is possible at all. How can moksha? Moksha means freedom from samsara, freedom from sorrow, freedom from fear, and ultimately freedom from keeping on coming to the school of life, repeating the class every time. This is what it is. Life after life after life. It's like a deja vu. Deja vu means you're repeating the class, you're repeating the class, you're repeating the class all the time. And so freedom from that is called moksha. So then, if experiencing the karma is not going to get rid of it, then what is going to get rid of it? What is going to get rid of it is to understand what this karma is. Is this karma, karma means here result of action. Is this karma satyam? Is it unchanging? No. Is it constant? No. These are the questions we have to ask. Then what is it really? You cannot say it is non existent. Why? Because I have a backache, somebody said. If I have a backache, that means what? Prarabdha, right? So if somebody says I have a backache, then they are experiencing it. You cannot say I have a non-existent backache. That is not the way to talk. Somebody will ask you to get your head examined if you start speaking like that. So backache. Backache means what? Oh, I need help. I need, I need to go to a doctor. I need to get some massage or whatever it is. So you cannot dismiss it. You cannot say it is non existent because, yes, the person who is having the backache is experiencing the backache. All right. Then, then is it real? No, because once you go to sleep, what back? Well, back itself is not there, let alone the ache. Back has, back is not yet back when you're sleeping. Only when you're awake, the back is back along with the pain. Otherwise, the back is gone. If the back itself is gone, what to talk of back pain? No back, no pain. So in sleep, are you aware of the back? No. Oh, but I couldn't sleep for a long time because of the pain. Yes, I am with you there. I agree. You couldn't sleep, you tossed and turned, but eventually the sleep goddess blessed you and then you sunk into a wonderful sleep. I'm talking of that time. Are you aware of the back? No. Are you aware of the backache? No. So this is backache is like mithya within mithya. Back itself is mithya, and then that which is connected to the back is mithya within mithya. So then this is not, this is not constant. Prarabdha is not constant. Agami is not constant. And then Sanchita is also not constant because it keeps increasing and then little bit decreasing, more increasing like this. So the karma is not satyam. Satya means you. Satya means self. Satya means Ishvara. Satya is Atma. And so that karma is not you. Then why am I told follow the path of dharma? Dharma. Satyam vada dharmanchara swadhyaya anma pramadah. This is from the Upanishad. Why does the Upanishad tell me this? If karma is all mithya, mithya means it's a dependent reality. If it doesn't matter, why? Because that's how the Vedanta is. Vedanta is exactly like this. It's a series of paradoxes. You first follow dharma, you follow your duty, you do what you need to do, because if you don't do what you need to do, you will start doing what you should not be doing. This is empty mind is a, is a asura's workshop. Okay? And so therefore you will do something else that you're not supposed to do. And so you are supposed to do all this. But then I'm bound with the result of action. Yes, because after some point of leading a responsible life, etc., that is again the means. And the last few verses, we have been talking about the connection between the means and the end, where the means is mistaken to be the end. Following dharma is the means. And what is the end? Qualifying, getting antahkarana shuddhi, being free to follow this Vedanta. That is what we are getting. It is not just to follow dharma for the sake of studying Vedanta. Otherwise, if you just become a dharmic person, I am a good person, I am an ethical person, I am a moral person, you keep patting yourself on the back, it's of no use. Because it's like wearing a kind of a tuxedo a formal dress and staying at home. Oh, are you going out? No. Are you having some kind of a formal event in your house? No. Then why are you wearing this expensive dress? Just like that. This is like all dressed up with no place to go. So the dharmic person is all dressed up with no destination in sight. The means has become the end. And what about Vedanta? The end of Vedanta. That is what will happen. The end of self knowledge or any hope for this self knowledge to be there. And so, therefore, this has to be properly, very, very carefully understood. That what is this for? This knowledge is for what? The dharma is for what? Karma is for what? Dharma and karma, duty bound, following your duty and accepting the results that come. All this is a practice. And what is it a practice for? The practice is to calm down, to get shanti, to qualify for this knowledge, to have a taste for this knowledge, to just be with this knowledge. That is what it is. The Karma Yoga is a prep, it's a preparation for this knowledge. But if you take that to be the end, then that is not what Maharshi wants one to do. So the teaching here is very beautiful. So then he says, then how to get out of this bondage is given here. Vicharadhuta Haridi Kartrita Chet. Chet means if. But we are optimistic here. We are going to take the chet as when, not if. Okay. Yeah, it's nice to be hopeful and optimistic. Not if. Let us take it as when. So, vichara dhuta hridi kartrita chet. Hridi, in the heart, kartrita. Very nice word. Kartrita means the aham karta iti vrittihi. The thought, the understanding, or the wrong notion, or the identification with the idea, I am the karta, I am the doer. This is what happens. I am the doer. Iti identification. The misidentification, I am the agent of action. This kind of a misidentification, that is what is the cause of sorrow. Because if you say, I am the doer, then what? All the time you'll be feeling guilty. Array, I wish I had done this. I wish, why did I do this? Why did I not do this? Upanishad also talks about this. Kimaham sadhuna karavam, kimaham papamakaravamiti. Iti. Why did I do the wrong thing? Why didn't I do the right thing? See, reproduced for you with the swaras and instant translations. So, this is what it is. And so, this is the lament of a person who does not have any idea of the truth of themselves. That is why there is suffering. If you take yourself as the karta, as the agent of action, then the feeling of guilt is endless, constant, all the time. Oh, I wish I had been better. When will I be perfect? Answer is never, because you're already perfect. So when will I do something perfectly? When will this happen? Why did I do this? I should have known better. Why I did not work harder? Why did I cause this? Why did I say this? Me and my big mouth. And this is why, this is what it means, Speech, Rahu controls speech also. So therefore, we have to be careful, especially around eclipses. Eclipses means Rahu, Ketu are active. And so one has to manage the speech very well. So as soon as you think you are the agent or the author of action, then guilt comes and makes a home and sits in the heart. And the longer you keep thinking, I am the agent of action, then it starts to hang pictures and make a little altar and then, arrange the room and put up interior decorations. Guilt. Okay, I won't identify as the doer. Then what? But I will identify as the bhokta, the one who is the recipient of action. that is equally worse. If you say, I am a bhokta, bhokta means the one who is subject to the result of action, then you are hurt all the time. If you consider yourself an author of the action, then what happens? You are guilty. If you consider yourself the recipient of the result of actions, then you are victimized and hurt. You're always hurt. You're carrying a big chip over the shoulder. Like, why did they do this? Why didn't they do that? So, what is guilt? Guilt is not being able to not being able to bear your own omissions and commissions. That is guilt. What is hurt? Hurt is suffering as a result of other people's omissions and commissions towards one. Not being able to bear your own commissions and omissions, that is guilt. Why did I do this? Why didn't I do that? And then other people's omissions and commissions I'm affected by, that is hurt. Why did they do this to me? Their commission. How could they do this to me? That is hurt. Why didn't they do this to me? That is also hurt. And so, therefore, this guilt and this hurt, these are the things that one has to, that comes out of thinking of oneself, identifying with the results of action and identifying with the as a recipient of the result of action or as the actor. This is what comes. This is the problem. And then, so therefore, what is the option? The option here is Hridi Kartrita. Kartrita means the doership and the receivership of the results of action, and identifying with oneself as the doer. Vichara dhuta chet, when it is washed away by the enquiry, self-enquiry. How can I be the actor when when I do not control the results of action? How can I even control the actions? And then if you look deeply into the action is not free. The action is based on raga and dvesha. Raga, dvesha, strong preferences, prejudices, etc. So those kinds of actions based on raga, dvesha, if I cannot control, then so I'm not in charge of the actions at all. The raga, dvesha are controlling the actions, and so then, of course, the result is misery. The result is pain, shock, fear, all these things. And so when you look into what is the doer, you are not the doer. In fact, you say you have free will. How free is it when it is bound in all kinds of useless desires? Can it be called free? Absolutely not. It cannot be called free even for a minute. And so, therefore, what? So, therefore, this needs a lot of understanding. And so, therefore, when by this kind of a self inquiry, one understands that this karma, I am not a manufacturer of action or even the result of action. In the Mundakopanishad, there is a beautiful promise that is given. Vidyate hridaya granthihi chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. Tasmin drishte, tasmin brahmani. When I'm able to understand, see what? In this Brahman, both para means Ishvara, and avara, that which is not para, the jiva. In this Brahman, I see both Ishvara and jiva as one. And when I'm able to see that, three things happen. The first thing that happens, vidyate hridaya granthihi. The knot in the heart, knot, is like a granthi. This knot is a very interesting knot. It's the knot of Agnyalam or samsara. So it's just like any kind of slip knot. There is a knot and a loop, and then two pieces of thread, correct? And then you go, which one to pull? If you pull one of them, the knot slips very easily. But if you pull the wrong one, God forbid, then the knot tightens up even more. So here, when you study Vedanta, the right, the right string is pulled. No pun intended. When you pull the right string, what happens? The knot resolves. Usually the heart, is the spiritual heart. The proverbial heart is the one that's where you say, oh, it hurts here, it pains here, I'm miserable here. Where the I is cognized, the heart is also, that is where I feel the pain. Now you feel the pain, why? Because you're thinking of yourself as a doer. You're thinking of other people having hurt you. You're carrying a whole list of pain, grudges, resentment, fear, sorrow. And that is the knot of Agnyalam, because you don't know that this karma doesn't belong to you. You're suffering because you're taking on somebody else's things. And then you're suffering. That is what it is. It's like getting tensed because, what is that? Bill Gates, is losing money. And so why are you tense? It's not your money. No, no, no. I'm just tense because he's losing money. It's like that. It's like taking somebody else's problems. Whose problems are they? They belong to the ahankara, they belong to the jiva, they belong to so many things, but not you. They do not belong to you. And so then what to do? Drop the kartritvam. That is the idea. So these three things happen. Vidyate hridaya granthi. Then all the doubts go away. The heart knot is torn asunder. All the doubts go away. Chidyante sarva samshayaha. Then the last one is why I quoted this verse, the last line. Kshiyante cha asya karmani. All the karmas are gone for the person of self-knowledge. Why? Because that was then, this is now. For a jnani, there is no karma. No karma at all. No karma at all. Absolutely no karma. How? This is not fair. How is the jnani exempt from karma? And this is said in the Upanishads also. And it is said in the Kaushitaki Upanishad that if the jnani were to commit patricide or matricide, kill one's own mother or father, still not a hair on their head is affected. That means what? It is very unlikely that the jnani will do this. But if the jnani did this, that means there was a good reason, and maybe that mother and father were tyrants and they were terrorizing the whole place. And just like Krishna was in the unenviable position of killing his own uncle, Kamsa, had to be done. And so the karma doesn't touch such a person. Indra tells King Pratardana in the Kaushitaki Upanishad. Very beautiful. So this means what? Where does the karma go? The same place where your dream went when you were dreaming. Let's say you had a dream that three fellows, very strong and hefty fellows with big sticks, were chasing you. Where? In the dream. And they were gaining. You couldn't outrun them. You ran. They ran faster. And they were about to beat you with the sticks. You were just like this in the middle of the road. You were like this and you were just saying, Bachao, help me, save me. And they were about to beat you. Ha, thank God the dream broke. And then what? Do you still continuing to run after waking up? Yeah? After the dream, do you continue to run? No. Why? Because where are the people? Where are the sticks? No. That's why I said three people. Sanchita, Agami, Prarabdha. Chase you just like people in a dream. But then when you wake up, then what? Then there is no people at all. This was a nightmare. That was then. This is now. Swakale satyavat bhati. This is mithya. In its time, it looks like real. It looks like Sat. Swakale Satyavat Bhati prabodhe sati asat bhavet. Means in its time it looks real, but then later on what happens to it? It is outed as unreal. So it's just like but how to wake up? You just know the nature of the I that is waking up to your own glory as Satchidananda Atma, as the truth of everything, as fearless, as whole, as delighted always without any reason to be delighted, as someone who is just an outpouring of love, who is love incarnate, because that is what it is. What is this Ananda? Ananda is just in the form of reckless love that is directed towards nothing in particular and everything in general. Pujya Swamiji used to describe it, like the urgency with which it's like a relationship between the stone and the earth. If you throw a stone, the urgency with which it wants to go back to the earth, that is the love. Everything is attracted to its own source. And you also want to know your source. That is Bhagavan. That is basically what the whole teaching here is. And so when you do that, what karma? It's like a dead man's bank account. Who will it go to? Let's say he did not leave a will and the person died. Who will that money go to? His or her money, where will it go? And you cannot say, oh, it is the dead person's money. Yeah, but the dead person is not there to claim the bank account, not there to claim the wealth. Or even the person dies with a lot of debit, papa, let us say, lot of debit, not just credit. And then the person dies. And then what? That also is the person cannot come back to repay, especially if they don't have any children or relatives. This is exactly what happens. And so therefore what? So therefore, so vichara dhuta. Vichara dhuta means destroyed by vichara. Vichara dhuta hridi kartrita chet. So in the antahkarana, after this inquiry, when the notion that I am a doer is dropped, then what happens? Karmatrayam nashyati. All the three karmas go away. Sa eva muktihi. That is freedom. That is freedom from samsara. That is what is called, quote unquote, Atmajnanam, enlightenment, etc., etc. That is exactly what one is, that is exactly what one is supposed to be doing. So, very nice verse on karma. Moving forward, next one. Baddhatva bhave sati moksha chinta bandhastu kasyeti vicharanena siddhe swayam swatmani nitya mukte kva bandha chinta kva cha moksha chinta बद्धत्व भावे सति मोक्ष चिंता बंधस्तु कस्येति विचारणेन सिद्धे स्वयं स्वात्मनि नित्यमुक्ते क्व बंध चिंता क्व च मोक्ष चिंता बद्धत्व भावे सति. If one, this we have actually covered already, but so it is nice to revise it. The same thing, yesterday I think I related the story of the guru and the shishya and what else? The cows, right? As though tying up the cows. And then in the morning, pretend freeing the cows, right? This is exactly what it is here. That is the theme of this verse number 41. Baddhatva bhave. In case of the baddhatva bhave sati, when there is this feeling of bondage, the notion of bondage, when it is there, when I feel tied up, even though I'm not tied up, I feel tied up. That means what? then moksha chinta. Then I get very worried. When is moksha going to come? How can I get rid of all this pain? What about my sorrow? When will this happen? When will I spiritually evolve? Is there any change in me now? I have attended 10 minutes of a Bhagavad Gita class. Is there any change in me now? I have attended half an hour of Bhagavad Gita class. Is there any change in me now? Now I have attended 1 hour of a Gita class. This is how one keeps looking. Are we there yet? This is what children in America say when they're taken for a long ride. Parents are going somewhere in the car. So the children will be sitting in the back. Mom, Dad, are we there yet? No, 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 still ways to go. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? So this is what it is like. But I'm not a child. Exactly. Even though one is not a child, this are we there yet? Vritti does not go away. Why? The feeling that I am not there yet is still there. Notional bondage leads to the notion I want to be free. This is what the cows yesterday we were talking about. The cows were pretended to be tied because the rope was gone, the rope was stolen. So the Shishya pretended to tie the cow to a post, and the cow thought it was really bound. And the next day, come on, go to the water. I can't go, I am tied. So then you had to pretend untie them. And so who is the cow? The Jiva is the cow. And then what? And what is the rope? The notion that I am, the pretend rope is the notion that one is bound. The notion that I am bound is the pretend rope. The cow is the jiva. And the Shishya in the story is the guru that, as though without doing anything, unties this notion of bondage. This is what it is. Vedanta is like that. Everything is as though. Oh, even as though guru, yes. As though Shishya, yes. That's what it is. And that is what the whole thing is. It's just fascinating. It's amazing. So baddhatva bhave sati, when there is the notion of bondage, then there is a lot of anxiety about when will I be free, when will I be free, are we there yet, are we there yet, am I there yet, when. And then one sings sad songs. Darshan kab doge? When will you give me darshan? Why are you, O Lord, so far away from me? And when will I be one with you? This is the sorrow. Very sorrowful one is. Very anxious one is. But then, what does Maharshi advise? Maharshi says, Bandhatu kasya iti vicharanena स्वयं सिद्धे स्वात्मनि स्वयं सिद्धे नित्यमुक्ते आत्मनि क्व बंध चिंता क्व मोक्ष चिंता. Very nice. So bandha tu, but however, this notion of this bondage, kasya iti, who does this bondage belong to? Iti vicharanena, through this kind of a relentless inquiry. Who does this bondage belong to? Who does this bondage belong to? Think about it. Is the body bound? No. The body is inert. The body cannot be bound. Why can't the body be bound? Because the body doesn't have any feelings, I am bound. The body doesn't say, the body doesn't say, I need to go on a diet. No, you say, I need to go on a diet. Body is happy. You feed it some more idlis, it will happily eat. No problem at all. It is not weight conscious. It is not time conscious. Body is jada, inert. Then is it the mind? Mind is also inert. Body is inert. Mind is inert. Senses are also living on borrowed light. And from the light of Atma they are just like the moonlight. So the moon is shining in borrowed light. So that's why the mind and the moon have a lot of affinity. In the horoscope, the placement of the moon shows how steady the mind is. That's what it is. And so, if the moon is affected, or aspected by planets that are inimical, Rahu, Ketu, etc., then that can that can predict some kind of a difficulty in managing one's emotions. It can also foretell any kind of derangement, definitely. So the moon is the moon is borrowed light. The mind is also shining in the light of Bhagavan, Brahman, Satchidananda Atma. And so, therefore, where is this bondage located? Tell me. Where is this bondage located? Then you say, where, okay, it's very difficult to find the bondage. Then, Adi Shankara was also asked this question. Where is Agnyalam located? Not bondage. There, the question was slightly different. Where is Agnyalam located? And Adi Shankara replied, it is in the nature of the asker, the one who is asking. So one who is asking means what? Ahankara. Then what is this ahankara? This ahankara is very confusing because it is a little bit of satyam and it is a little bit of mithya. This is exactly why it is very confusing. Ahankara is, so the Satyam part of the Ahankara is Satchidananda Atma. It borrows its existence from the Satchidananda Atma. But as we have talked about this whole time, it also is internalized what? What has it internalized? It has internalized from the association with the body mind sense complex. It is also taken the jada part, the subjective component of the ahankara, which has taken a lot from the mithya part of the atma. This is the problem. And because little bit, it's a kind of a inextricable mixture. So then it is a mixture of Atma and Ahankara. This I notion. So because Ahankara cannot say I, because Ahankara is Jada. And then Atma cannot say I because it doesn't do anything, it doesn't say anything. But then the two together, what happens? So there is this Atma, which is Satyam, and then Ahankara, Mithya. And so the doership belongs to this Mithya, the subjective part of the Ahankara. I am the doer. It doesn't belong to the Atma. And the done-in-ship, I am done in by other people's doings, also belongs to the Mithya part of the Atma. And it is not Sat. Therefore, when one takes oneself to be the Ahankara, the ego, the reality is not known. And when the reality is not known, the unreal becomes real. This is what happens. And then, so when the unreal becomes real, what happens? The real becomes unreal. Simple. When the unreal becomes real, when Mithya becomes Satyam, Satyam becomes Mithya, naturally. And so therefore, Siddhe, Swayam Siddhe Nityamukte Atmani, Swatmani, in this Atma, in one's own Atma, which is forever free and which is self-evident I, Kvabandha Chinta. From that standpoint, where is the Chinta means where is the worry of bondage? Where is the worry of freedom? This is very beautiful verse. Little more we have to see. And it looks like we may conclude tomorrow or at the most day after. Can't say for sure. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om